Alright, today we're going to start solving one-step equations. And let's see, today is... Say it. That's a good start. Alright, here we go. Today the 10th, Taylor? Yeah. Thank you. And this is 2-1, solving one-step equations. Alright, in this section, you're going to see 5 types of problems. Okay? Of the 5 types of problems that you see, when you look at the problem, the first question you want to ask yourself is, what are they doing to the variable? Or what is being done to the variable? Okay, so if we look at this problem, x plus 3 equals negative 8, and we ask ourselves, what is being done to the variable? Well, they're adding 3 to it. Agreed? Alright, so we can say that they are adding 3. Alright. Then what we're going to do to solve for x is the opposite of what's being done. So what is the opposite of adding 3? Dan? Subtracting 3. So if they're adding 3 to the variable, we are going to subtract 3. This right here, this question works for every problem you're going to see today. And it basically works for any time you're going to solve a variable in Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. You ask yourself, what's being done to the variable? And you continually do the opposite of what's being done. And that gets the variable sitting by itself. If you take this equation now, and you put a line through the equal sign, and you subtract 3 from each side of the line, or each side of the equal sign, you're left with x, and you're left with equals, and you're left with negative 11. And that's what x is equal to. So you always ask the question, what's being done to the variable? And then you do the opposite. And by doing the opposite, you get the variable sitting by itself. Okay? So if negative 7 is equal to b minus 3, Madison, what's being done to the variable? Subtracting 3 from it, right? What's the opposite of that, Taylor? Adding 3. So we're going to add 3 to each side of the equal sign. Do this in your calculator or in your head. You're better off using your calculator, though. Negative 7 plus 3 is negative 4 equals bravo. How about m minus 8 equals negative 14? Dakota, what's being done to the variable? Good. What's the opposite of subtracting 8? Very good. So we're going to add 8 to each side of the equal sign. It puts the variable by itself. Negative 14 plus 8, negative 6. Is that simple or what? How about y plus 2 equals negative 6? What are they doing to the variable, Dan? What's the opposite of adding 2, Emily? So we're going to subtract 2 from each side of the equal sign. And y equals negative 8. One more. X plus 13 equals 27. Ricky, what are they doing to the variable? Felly, what's the opposite of adding 13? So we're going to subtract 13 from each side. X equals 14. Okay? So I told you you'd see 5 types of problems today. You've seen 2. You've seen where they're subtracting from the variable, and you've seen where they're adding to the variable. Agreed? Alright, so let's move on to page 89, problem 3. (4x = 12). Sarah, what's being done to the variable here? It's being multiplied by 4. Maylena, what's the opposite of multiplying by 4? What's the opposite of multiplying by 4? Dividing by 4. So look, divide each side by 4. That line in a fraction means divide. These 4's cancel, and x equals 3. If 10 equals negative 15x, they're multiplying negative 15 times x. So we're going to divide each side by what? Negative 15. Very good. Bring down your equal sign. Bring these cancel out. X equals negative 2/3. (3.2) z equals 14. The variable is being multiplied by 3.2, so we're going to divide each side by 3.2. Brandon? Say again? No, what's 14 divided by 3.2? It's got to be more than that, doesn't it? Because 3 goes into 12 4 times, so it's got to be somewhere, Sarah. 4.375. Good. Guys, be careful when you're messing with them calculators. Okay? Because look, if you're not even thinking about the 0.2 for a second, right? Say that's not there. Well, 14 divided by 3 is going to go at least 4 times, right? So if your calculator says, 1 point something, you pushed a button wrong, and just redo it. Okay? Don't just believe the calculator no matter what it says. Good morning, Mrs. Metzler.
Morning, I'm Katie. You need help clean up anything?
Oh, no, I got a lot of it. I just wanted to vent.
Sorry.
It's all right. I'm going to get a hold of Jessica. Megan Hartman. She's on my list.
Yeah, she's the right.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay. And 2 more. So we've added, subtracted, and multiplied, right? What do you think's next? Good. Now you're going to have a variable being divided. So x divided by 4 equals negative 9. You ask yourself, what's being done to the variable? It's being divided by 4. What's the opposite of dividing by 4? Multiply by 4. So if you multiply each side of the equal sign by 4, these 2 4's cancel, don't they? And x is equal to? Negative 36. Very good. What if 19 equals r divided by 3? Then you're going to multiply each side by 3. 19 times 3? Very good. 57 equals r. You starting to get the point?
Yeah.
Okay? So we've added, subtracted, we've multiplied, and we've divided. All right? The only thing left, and we talked about it, I think we talked about it last week, but I'm not sure, is a fraction in front of the variable. 4/5 m equals 28. Here, fraction in front of the variable, fraction in front of the variable. Multiply by the reciprocal. That's the flip of the fraction, remember? So if we're going to multiply by the reciprocal here, we're going to multiply each side of the equal sign by 5/4 times 5/4. When you take a fraction and you multiply it by its reciprocal, it equals 1. So all of this over here cancels out. And you're just left with the m on the left side of the equal sign. On the right side of the equal sign, you can put your 28 over 1. 4 goes into itself once, and it goes into 28 7. 7 times 5 is 35. 1 times 1 is, do we have to put it there? No, you don't put it there. You're done. Those are the 5 types of problems that you're going to see from now till Christmas, basically. But they all boil down to adding or subtracting from the variable, multiplying or dividing the variable, or there's a fraction in front of it. And those are the 5 different ways that you solve them. Doesn't matter which side of the equal sign the variable's on when there's a fraction involved. If 12 equals, this one gets, well, doesn't get tricky, but it can get a little bit messy, okay? Because now you got the 2/3 m's, crammed in there between the equal sign and the variable, okay? But what are you going to do to solve for m? Thank you. You're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So what are you going to multiply both sides by? Multiply by times 3/2. You can put it over there if you want. And times 3/2. Because it doesn't really matter where you put it over here. What's going to happen? What are you going to be left with? You're going to be left with an m regardless. So that's going to go away, and that's going to go away, and your m is going to fall down. And you can do that. There's 2 ways you can finish this. You can cross-cancel it like we just talked about. Or you can just multiply straight across. 3 times 12 is 2 times 1 is 36 divided by 2 equals, okay, so m is equal to 18. Any questions? All right, your assignment for today is page 91. You're doing 11 through 41. I expect you to show your work for each problem. I expect you to skip a line between problems. And I expect you to check every odd problem in the back of the book. That's all part of the assignment.